Hello, everybody. Ooh, a cold, miserable, damp day here on the rancho in north central California. Got my fake fireplace going. At least it makes me feel good. Hey, I've got a lot of comments on. I've done 2 transgender topic videos over the last couple days, and by and large, they've gotten quite a bit of traction, and I've had a few requests to appear in other places and to be on other panels and things. And for me, that's really kind of premature because there's so much more I want to say about the subject, and I think it's important from a long-time trans woman perspective, longer than Caitlyn Jenner and other people. Some of us have been at this a long time, and we have seen the marker change. The problem is, if you come into the trans community today, you really are like looking in a keyhole or looking at one frame of a movie reel, a film reel, with really no idea of what came before or what's to come. You have an isolated moment in time where you're doing a lot of evaluative judgments based on what things are today. Well, the reality is, up until about, I would say, 3 years ago, there wasn't what I call a lot of displacement in the transgender community. By and large, people that were truly transgendered and transitioned, if they were about it in the right way and went through the proper counseling and didn't get on what I call the shortcut, the short circuit to get to the end result of the physicality of things and not the mental aspects of things. By and large, there seem to be relatively well-adjusted people. The problem began when we started to want to spread and advocate the doctrine to those below the age of majority, 18, 21 years old, and start to carry that thought, if it worked for us, it's got to work for them, and if you guys can start them earlier, their lives are going to be so much better. No. You're basically narrowing down their future and presenting them with obstacles and difficulties that mentally, at a young age, they may never be able to overcome. The other real issue some people focus on, bathroom issues and things like that, and sports teams and I'm an advocate of no, you don't belong on women's sports teams and competition, because you upset the whole balance of this period of the film before and the film to come. We look at one period and said we should be able to do this because we are women. No, you're not. And here is the real crux of the issue today, and it's what I call becoming a counterfeit. Now, before you take a lot of negative connotation of the word counterfeit, just hold your horses for a minute, okay? Up until like a few years ago, people that were transgender, for the most part, most of my contemporaries were happy with being considered trans women. We never wanted to make that extra step of pushing into the realm of what it is to be a cisgendered, biologically gendered woman. We understood that the domain of being female, although we want to copy it as much as possible, right? We need to understand that there's a lot of aspects of being a woman that we're never going to understand. And I started seeing these crazy uploads of trans, male to female trans. This is mostly male to female transgender because I don't have a lot of experience on female to male. Okay, but I started seeing videos about starting on hormones, and now I'm getting a monthly period. Really? I'm saying I've been on hormones more years than I can count. And I've never had the cramping and issues, and I saw the rise of this, and I'm thinking to myself, no, there's no way with, you might have estrogen, you might block testosterone, but there's other hormones, luteinizing hormones and things that women have in proportions that you're never going to have, okay? So it struck me as kind of odd. I started to see this encroachment on, we're moving closer and closer to being women, and then some male to female had a baby or something like that, and that was, like a we've arrived or something like that. We haven't. What I want to say today is, if you think that taking hormones and having surgeries makes you a woman, then in my opinion, you're counterfeiting what a genetically born cisgendered woman is. You're devaluing her, because the transitive property of mathematics, remember that, if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. Well, if I have these symptoms and I do these things that define physically what a woman is, and hormones and testosterone blockers, then I should be considered a woman, despite the fact we have little understanding in psychology of the wiring of the brain, and does it change when you become male to female? Well, I think like a woman now. Really? Tell me how a woman thinks. Right? But this property does not hold this transitive property, because there's things that transgender male to female will never experience that women experience. So although you may think A equals B and B equals C, therefore A equals C, no, it's not the case. There'll always been an unevenness, and what you're doing when you're demanding that people say that you are a woman, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. I'm every bit as female as Claire down the block or whatever. But you see, if your transitive property holds like you think it is, then Claire should have some of the issues that you have as a transgender, right? And we know, no, it's a one-way street. You're moving their way. They're not moving your way. Okay? And they're never going to be moving your way, because to move your way by necessity means there's going to be less womanly attributes to them when they transit over to your side. Okay, so no matter how much we may say, this is what I want you to see me as, when you do that, you're devaluing what it is to be a genetically born cisgendered woman. You're cheapening the currency of what they are, and the experiences they've had, in the ways that they've grown up. And this counterfeiting cannot be a positive thing, because we lose the differentiation. Well, what does it really be? What does it really mean to be a woman? I don't know. I guess testosterone blockers and estrogen and maybe a little dose of progesterone now and then we're good to go. You know, women they're born girls, they grow up. They grow into their skin, right? They adjust. Their mind is affected by hormones. Their minds are affected by true periods on a monthly basis. They're affected by social angst and social experiences and problems of acceptance and anxiety and happiness and joy. Then I'm sorry, as a male to female trans woman, I will probably never experience 2% of that. As a 2%er, not a 1%er, a 2%er, I don't think to widen my grasp and say, I am what you are, and you need to accept me as that. See, I think women, by and large, tend to be very nurturing, and they have a very wide arms when it comes to giving love. Right? They can look at people across a broad spectrum of the most sadly and terribly disabled child, and and their capacity for love, or the child that's most challenged, mentally most challenged, physical challenges and things. And if anything, their love becomes stronger. They have the ability to emotionally embrace. Okay. And by and large, for the most part, I think there's been a lot of embracing of, we may not understand what being a trans woman is. As a guys, it's easy. Okay, you'll never be a woman, right? Don't talk to me, okay? No, go away, right? Or I like you, let me buy you. It's all a very black and white issue. But I think women are more genetically wired to be, to embrace you with compassion and try to understand a little more about what the situation is and give you a lot more leeway and a lot more freedom to be you without threatening to physically assault you, perhaps terminate your life, come and roll up on you, or roll up on a LGBTQRSTUVWXYZ bar and just start beating the hell out of people in there. It's not what women do, right? So what I've noticed lately is more women are starting to weigh in on this too, and starting to defend their turf of what it is to be a female, and they're 150% correct. Okay? Just because you can try to, what we call asymptotically, or approach something but never quite reach it, right? An asymptotic function means that we're always moving towards the direction of being female, but those of us with rational minds understand we'll never get there. So because we'll never get there, and attribute and have all the attributions, compassion, mind function, love, ability to love that women have, we're always transitioning on. It's what trans means, moving through. All this is a way to say it's only in the last couple of years that we've seen this very determined push that take all of male to females like me and say, well, you are this now. And some people have taken it to the point of ridiculous and saying, as I said yesterday, because my license says female and I've changed my birth certificate to be female, means I am female. It's like, if you find your sense of being in a legal document, then we don't even have a frame of reference to begin to have a discussion, right? What to me is the whole process of transition. You don't even accept anymore. You just say you walk through one door and you're here. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. So therefore, can we be surprised when there's more misery in the community, when there's more pushback by politicians to say, whoa, this is just such ungrounded bullshit here. Where are we going to draw the line? What are we, how do we got to step up and start protecting what it is to be a woman now, by drawing the line and saying, no, you're not going to be competing in sports with women, right? Because you're not a woman, you're a trans woman. Whether you like it or not, the pendulum swings much more kookiness and years of stuff ahead is going to bring a whole backlash, a whole raft of troubles our way, as I've said before. Right? Not exactly, I can't exactly put my finger on that push for being considered full woman. But it's one that's led us down the road of a lot of trouble. And I don't care what you do. You can counterfeit something all you want. But there's something about the genuine article that will always endure and always have the quality, the bearing, the ability to be what it truly is. I hope you derive some benefits from these. Please share it out in your community if you're considering whether you're transgender or not, or you have children, or you're involved in the political arguments, or maybe you're defending a school system. Maybe you're defending the status quo because it seemingly worked so well for so many years. And maybe you just want, or a person that wants to restore a little sensibility to the whole equation that the whole situation that our society has been thrusting to today. So I want to thank you for watching today. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, share it out, hit the bell for all notifications. I feel at this point in my life, I feel an intense need to stop people that that a superhighway has been built for them to destroy their lives. Back in the pioneer days when we were pulling hand-cart wagons over the Rocky Mountains to get what we needed to be to feel happy, not to be a woman, look like one, study them, yeah, I'd probably do that. We were walking over very, very rough trails. Today, I'm very worried about the superhighway that's been built to disaster. Somebody asked me in closing, why do you even care about it, Rosie? Because we should care about others. It's the building block of society. If a bridge is washed out up ahead and we know about it, then we just watch the busload of kids, coming from school, rolling towards the bridge and not say anything, or let someone walk into a situation of tremendous peril and not say something. It's the duty that we owe others. Your thumbs up are appreciated. Once again, please share, subscribe, and thanks so much for watching. This is really important stuff in a really important era in the world today. Thanks, everyone.